It's March 27th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a rig capsizing in seconds, a runway collision that became aviation's deadliest, and a deep-sea tour that turned into tragedy. Let's begin. On March 27, 1980, in the freezing darkness of the North Sea, the offshore platform Alexander L. Kielland stood against a violent storm, with waves rising nearly 40 feet high. Inside, 212 men were doing ordinary things, watching a movie, eating dinner, talking. Then at exactly 6:30 p.m., something snapped. A single structural brace quietly failed. Within seconds, the damage spread. Steel supports began tearing apart one after the other, like a chain breaking under pressure. The entire leg of the platform ripped away, and the rig tilted 30 degrees. Men grabbed onto the walls as the floors became ceilings. Outside, the storm kept raging. Inside, confusion. Then the slow realization that this thing was going over. The anchor cables began snapping, until there was only one left, holding hundreds of men above the ocean. And then it broke. At 6:53 p.m., the entire platform flipped upside down. Lights went out, and cold water rushed in. Men were trapped inside steel corridors, now beneath the sea. Survivors were pulled from the freezing water, clinging to debris. 123 never made it out. Many had been in the cinema, never even seeing what was coming. And the cause? A tiny crack hidden in the weld, growing silently for years. Today, a monument called the Broken Chain stands in Norway, a memory to those who were lost. On March 27, 1977, two of the largest airplanes in the world sat in silence on the same runway. At Los Rodeos Airport, a bomb threat on another island had forced dozens of flights to divert. The small airport was overwhelmed, jets lined the taxiway, so planes were told to use the runway itself to move. Then, the fog rolled in. Pilots couldn't see more than a few hundred feet. The control tower couldn't see them either. Only the voices remained, crackling and overlapping over the radio. Inside one aircraft, KLM Flight 5805, the captain made a decision. He believed he had clearance. He pushed the throttle forward. The massive jet began to accelerate into the fog, further down the same runway. Pan Am Flight 1736 was still taxiing, searching for an exit they couldn't see. Then, suddenly, headlights through the mist, the Pan Am crew tried to turn, and the KLM pilot tried to divert, but it was too late. The impact tore through the Pan Am aircraft. Fuel ignited instantly. A fireball consumed the runway, and inside the wreckage, darkness and smoke. Some passengers near the front found a break in the fuselage. They climbed out onto the wing, into the smoke-filled air. 61 people escaped, but 583 did not. And the cause wasn't a single mistake. It was a chain of misheard words, assumptions, pressure, and fog. Today, the Tenerife airport disaster is still the deadliest in history, because sometimes disaster don't come from chaos, it comes from everything seeming almost normal. On March 27, 2025, a group of tourists climbed into a submarine for what was supposed to be a peaceful journey beneath the Red Sea. The vessel, Sindbad Submarine, was designed for sightseeing, a slow descent into a coral reef and clear blue water. Nothing about it felt dangerous. Around 10 in the morning, the submarine began to descend. Passengers watched as the sunlight faded above them, replaced by shifting blue shadows. And then something went wrong. Some survivors would later say that the hatches weren't fully sealed. Others believe the submarine struck the reef, just 20 meters below the surface. But inside the vessel, it didn't matter, because water was pouring in, panic spreading instantly. Some tried to stand, but there was nowhere to go. The submarine was sealed, or at least it was supposed to be. In the chaos, a few managed to escape, swimming upward towards the light, towards air and the surface. But others never made it out. 6 people perished, including children. Rescue boats arrived. 39 survivors were pulled from the water, some injured and barely conscious, others completely in shock. The exact cause is still under investigation, but one detail lingers. This wasn't a deep ocean. It wasn't a storm. It was a calm day, a short trip, a routine dive, and sometimes moments no one expects to go wrong. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.